Alright, so you clicked this video because you're trying to get smarter, right? Maybe pick up a new language, get techie, learn to code, or play some music. The thing is, old school education can be a drag. Slow, costing too much, or just not fitting what you need. So you've probably tried teaching yourself, got a course, watched a ton of videos, read books. Maybe you got somewhere, but it felt like you were spinning your wheels, putting in hours and hours without much to show for it. Worse, you learned something, and poof, it's gone a week later. I am gonna show you how to build your own learning machine from the ground up and use some brain tricks to learn way quicker than right now. And don't get me wrong, this is not some rah-rah, you can do it kinda talk, and definitely not just telling you to try harder. I'm giving you real ways to rewire your brain and how you grab onto and bring back info. First, we're breaking down how to map out your own learning when there's no teacher calling the shots. Second, we're getting into how your brain really learns stuff, what you think is likely wrong. Third, I'm handing over 3 tricks that can cut your learning time in half or more. Fourth, we're setting up ways to see if you're actually getting better. And fifth, we're building a setup that keeps chugging even when you're not feeling it. When this video's over, you're gonna have a whole plan, not just some ideas floating around. A plan you can use today. Most self-learners screw up because they think learning is about stuffing your head with stuff. Reading books, watching videos, scribbling notes. That's not learning. That's just, I don't know, seeing stuff. And seeing stuff without doing it right is just wasting your time. What you're about to find out is learning is like any skill. Once you get the hang of it, you can get way, way better. So let's jump in. First up, making your own learning game plan. So, the first wall most people hit when they're learning solo, they have no idea where to even begin. There's no class plan, no teacher holding their hand. So, either they read all over the place or they just grab someone else's course and hope for the best. If you're calling the shots, you gotta get that you're playing 3 roles at once. The teacher, the student, and the one who decides what to learn. Let's start with that last one, because if you do know what you're aiming for, you'll waste months running in circles. Start simple. What does winning look like? Be real with yourself. If you want to learn Spanish, being fluent doesn't cut it. That's just blah. Maybe I can chat with someone who speaks Spanish for 20 minutes about normal stuff without bailing to English. If you're learning to code, knowing Python sucks. How about build an app that works and fixes a problem I have? Once you got that clear, work backward. Take it apart. What little skills do you need to get there? For Spanish, you need words, how to make sentences, hearing what people say, and feeling good when you talk. For code, you need to know the rules, how stuff is set up, how to deal with problems, and how to read the help files. Now, here's where everyone messes up. They try to eat the whole thing, start with Spanish 101, and grind through a book from page 1. That way does not work very well. Instead, think about what's going to help you most, that you will actually use, and what gets you fired up to learn. Say you're learning Spanish because you're heading to Mexico. You don't need to be a grammar expert. You need key phrases to survive, words everyone uses, how to ask questions. Start there. Get up and running fast. Build some boost, then fill in the gaps. This is your good enough method. What's the smallest toolbox of skills you need to do that thing you want to do, even if you're not a master just yet? Nail that down first. Next up, grade yourself. Find out what you know and what you don't. People skip this and then they're stuck relearning stuff they already get. Messing with graphics and no colors? Don't go waste your time in some 3-hour color class. Test yourself. Can you work with it? Move on. Super useful. Try to do the thing you want to learn before you learn it. Sounds backward, but trust me. Want to learn to code? Try to build something small right now. Even if you totally fail, boom, you'll find out where the holes are. This is called getting your hands dirty. First, it points you exactly where to put your power. Second, it gets your brain pumped to soak up the info because you already struggled with it. Last, pick your tools, but be cutthroat about it. You don't need 10 books about the same junk. You need one solid book, a good course, or a person to show you things. And then you need to do something with it all. The internet gives you all the stuff ever, which sounds amazing, but most people spend more time grabbing stuff than actually using it. Pick one thing to start with. Give it 30 days. Go deep, not wide. If it's not helping after 30, switch it up. But quit having your courses for decoration. That's just pretending to work. So in short, know exactly what winning looks like. Work back from that. Do what's most handy and what gets you rolling. Get your hands dirty to see where you're weak and grab one learning tool at a time. Boom! You got a learning plan without a teacher yelling at you. Second, what's really going on inside your head? Let's talk about what's doing you gotta know this stuff because everyone gets it wrong. And when you get that, all your studying will suck and information will not stick. Most people think when you read or someone talks to you, if you're paying attention, it slides right into your brain. Then if you look at it a couple of times, it's stuck there. You read something, go over it, and remember it? Nope. Your brain's got two types of memory, short and long. Think about it. Short-term memory is little. It holds like 4 to 7 things for a few seconds. When you're reading a book, that info is in short-term memory. It feels like you learned it, but unless you do something with it, it fades away. Long-term is where the real learning happens. It's huge. Stuff can stay there for your entire life. Yeah, so getting from short-term to long-term takes work. That's literally called encoding. There's an easy way and more hard way to encode something. The easy one is when you highlight or reread notes. You're just seeing info. It feels like work because you're doing something. Really, almost nothing's going to long-term. The hard way really makes the long-term connections. You have to explain it in your own words. Link to what you already know. Try to fix a problem. That effort makes stronger connections, and those connections are how stuff sticks. Like if you're learning about photosynthesis, shallow mode is reading the definition 3 times and highlighting key things. Deep is shutting the book and trying to draw a diagram, then seeing what mistakes you made. Deep encoding feels harder. It is harder, but that's also what makes it way more awesome. Forgetting is not a flaw. It's there by design. Your brain throws out stuff you don't use, because most info is a waste. If you remembered every word you've said, your brain would be full. Forgetting happens in a real pattern. You started learning, you better review that real fast after. After a day, you already lose 50-80% of stuff you learned. Better jump on that. After a week, the information is gone. Yeah, but every time you get those memories, it gets better. The review might give you a day. After that, it is a few days, then a week, then a month. After that, it is permanent. That is the spacing deal. We'll get into it next. One more thing, pattern and context. Facts alone are hard to remember, but facts in a story are easy to remember. That's why you can get the plot to a movie you saw 5 years ago, but yesterday's vocabulary are nowhere to be seen. Always link new information to something you know. Why does this sound like? History, don't remember dates. Look at cause and effect. Math, understand why the formulas work. Brains do not use hard drives, they use networks. The more connected your information is, the better chance you have later trying to remembering what you are learning. Here is the deal. Encode, encode, encode. Review the items. Link new information to items you already know. The better memories you will have. Don't slowly read. Force connections to see how real learning happens. Third, memory techniques. I'm going to give you the memory help that cuts your education in half. They're not magical skills. These are old methods that have been tested through memory research. Retrieval. Do not review your old notes. That wastes time. Instead, take out a new paper and try to remember the details about the chapter. Your head is working. Make more effort. Your memories that you retrieved will last an extra day. You practice the memories. It's easier the next time to remember them. Researchers show this can help 30 to 50%. If you are learning vocabulary, cover the answer and try to recall the answers. Practice the memory to learn more. Pretending to remember will not work. Technique 2. Space out everything. We spoke about this a little. Now you will win. Do not cram your memory sessions. Instead, space them out. Look at that schedule. Start that right away. Each time you are doing that, the memories are better. When you cram, this does not help. So do not waste your effort on this. There are some apps you can use. Anki is useful. Anki has flashcards that are spaced out for you. This can help you not forget. Technique 3. This is the other thing you need to know. If you master one technique, then move to the new one. That's more slower. Mix the skills in practice. Math? Do not get bogged down with algebra. Mix some geometry, some calculus. This will be messy. More mistakes. However, in the long, it is better. It has shown 40 to 50 increase with memory. It works on every subject, mix language. Do not spend an hour on verbing. Spend an hour on vocabulary. Get it together. They may feel hard, but they work. Effort is what really counts with how you study. Your brain will more likely need to work in tough areas that help you focus. Let's talk about web design. What if I learned HTML? I would close my laptop and build a HTML from memory. Second thing will be CSS. Review the old code after a week. Interleaving is mixing. Learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. In one session. Easy does not work. To have a long-term memory? Review those things with these easy techniques. Fourth, setting up your own feedback systems. Okay, so one tricky thing when you're teaching yourself stuff is that there's no instructor around to tell you if you're on the right track. No report cards, no one correcting your blunders. So, how can you tell if you're getting better or just repeating the same mistakes? This is where many self-learners hit a wall. They put in the time, but they have no idea if it's paying off. Even worse, they might think they are improving when they are developing poor practice. The key is to have feedback. Feedback provides info on how you're doing, so you can adjust accordingly. Teachers give feedback in school, but when you're self-teaching, you need to set that up for yourself. You need 3 kinds of feedback: instant, delayed, and outcome-based. Let's take a look. Immediate feedback. Knowing right away if you did something right. This is the simplest type to get. If you're using flashcards to learn a language, the app lets you know right away about right answers. Coding? The computer tells you right away if there's a mistake when you run your program. The trick is to set up your practice in a way that gives you fast feedback. Answer questions after each instead of waiting to the finish. Check each code portion while you work. For example, learning guitar. Record yourself playing a riff and listen to it right away. You can discover mistakes that your mind glossed over so you can adjust. Delayed feedback. Checking your work after some time passes. People can think they grasp something at the time but forget it later. To get delayed feedback, quiz yourself later. Read a history chapter, then a while later, summarize from memory. Develop a skill, then sometime after try to detail the process. Let some time pass between studying and testing yourself. It helps you learn what remained versus what feels remained. Outcome feedback. Testing yourself in a real situation. This is most helpful because you can assess use of what you learned. Learning Spanish? Try speaking with someone who speaks Spanish. Programming? Create an application to deal with issues. Taking pictures? Post pictures and check what people think. One mistake is that people wait too long to test themselves. They study for periods, then perform. By then, they studied stuff that do not matter. Test yourself sooner rather than later while still learning. Failing will inform you of where to focus. Let's talk quizzes because they can provide feedback. A self-test means performing. Without help, then checking how you did. In marketing, a self-test closing the book, then create a make-believe marketing agenda, then review material in the text. In music, a test would involving music by leveraging learnings, then check if appropriately applied. The how is not relevant. Produce, then consume. Then review outcome. A key mistake is not using feedback. Review feedback and change. The same mistake happened because people do not change. Following practice, ask yourself, what was done well? What was not? What needs to be improved? Keep notes on this. Deliberate versus regular practice stems from this. Last, ask for community or partner assistance. Peers can help with feedback. Learning to write? Engage with writer groups. Learning to code? Submit code to GitHub for assessment. Other language? Find a learning partner. Other learners can guide you with advice that you lack. They can provide resources or inspiration. Not all feedback is valuable. Someone who is ahead is more helpful for guidance than a teacher because they understand your level. Set up test and quick feedback for use while learning. Schedule testing times that are spaced apart to test remembering. Gain feedback with use in reality. Routinely self-test. Seek community for advice. Without feedback, outcomes might not appear. With feedback, you know what you are good or bad at. This creates progress. Fifth, building a sustainable self-learning system. The guidance so far will not stick if you are unable to manage a routine. This is a large element of learning. There are no agendas, check-ins, nor marks. Only a check by you. Learners start with drive. They are motivated. They have plans. They finish in 2 weeks. Goals fades and practices stop. How do you maintain learning when you are not motivated? How habitual? You brush without desire. Make learning work like this. Start small. Set small and routine practices that allow for consistency. Do not study 2 hours each day, as life will stop this. Begin with 5 minutes a day. Keep drive but show up regardless of conditions. Progress follows. Known as minimum viable habit. Maintain daily participation. The habit follows as well as greater time allotted. Environment matters. Phone access will cause usage. Clutter causes distractions. Materials required means slow adoption. Improve learning by setting up environment to fit. When studying guitar, keep guitar open. Learning a new language? Start by changing the language on the phone. Set up your coding settings prior to use. Lessen negative access. Remove usage habits. Read more? Keep a book on a pillow for constant view. Design environment to make the easy choice, the appropriate choice. Extrinsic motivation is motivation from rewards. Intrinsic is doing for fun. Extrinsic is good for quick gains. As gains fail, so does motivation. Intrinsic keeps the ability to learn going. One can develop motivation even if one lacks it. Connect learning to elements that matter. Coding for money is extrinsic. Coding for application is intrinsic. Outcomes stem from use cases. Why does it matter? Why is the topic needed? Or are you studying the wrong thing? Maintain frustration. This keeps focus. Breakthroughs happen, but progress will happen. Continue consolidation. Change habits at frustrating times. Try a different approach. Rest and restart. Do not stop as difficult. Track progress with journals. Track both gains and improvements each day. Record examples of new understanding. Assessment from journal will keep progress going. Manage time appropriately. Short practice times trump longer ones. Concentrated practice outperforms unfocused working. Use a timer with short-term focus and break periods. Called Pomodoro technique. Brain engages and maintains focus. Limit multitasking and disruptions for focus. Manage the available time to perform. Set daily consistent practices. Design environment. Relate to personal matters. Continue through frustration. Manage journals and time. Self-direction leads to greater outcomes than extra effort. Below are the subjects provided. Design by goals. Engineer with sub-skills. Improve knowledge gaps. Commit when needed. Understanding of brain functions lead to performance. Apply learnings with recall. Repeat actions. Mix skills. Allow for reviews with quick feedback. Test recalling knowledge. Perform and check. Consistency and daily habits. Develop environment. Manage personal investment frustrations. Maintain focus. Self-direction creates skill. Personal success is managed well with this. Learning can be maintained through discipline. Focus can be built with efforts. Most will view and do nothing. Many lack drive. But consistent work will yield great results. The goal is to apply practice within a plan. Start with one technique. Grow from there. Personal results are greater through greater knowledge, quicker than anyone hopes. The application results from your efforts.